One of the biggest problems in the industry is training your competition. You eventually lose your best people because they can't have your contract, so they'll go get it somewhere else. They'll go become a GA, they'll leave you. And just think about it. If we open an auto repair shop and we're paying our mechanics $30 an hour, but we're billing our clients at $80 an hour, we're making a $50 an hour profit for every hour we can keep those wrenches turning. But eventually, if this guy's worth his salt, he'll start helping manage a couple other mechanics. He'll start watching the store during lunchtime. He'll work with our vendors to make sure the shelves are stocked. And he's going to come to us and say, hey, I'm working harder. Can I get a raise? And I've got no problem with that. He's showing initiative. He's working hard. I'll pay him $50 an hour, right? But eventually, he's going to come to us and say, hey, I want $80 an hour. I know everything you know. We're like, well, we can't pay you $80 an hour. That's what we bill. And he said, if you don't pay me $80 an hour, I'm leaving. Well, there's the door. I don't want you to leave, but if that's how you really feel. And he goes down the street and opens his own auto repair shop. But when he leaves, does he leave alone or does he take some mechanics with him, right? Does he leave alone or does he take some customers with him? And we get the joy, the pleasure of hiring 3, 4, 5 more people and starting that 2-year process or 3-year process of training your competition all over again. And that's what happens in traditional small business and even large business. It doesn't happen here. We don't lose our best people. Why? Because there is no contract that anyone in this company can have that the newest person can't have as well. So when we bring a brand new person on, instead of $30 an hour, we bring them on at a 30% contract. So if we helped a client, let's say the client put in money into a product that resulted in $3,000 that was going to get paid out to the field. Well, a broker is at an 80% contract. A new agent is at a 30% contract. So if the broker did that, he'd make $2,400, right? 3,000 times 80% equals $2,400. If it's a brand new agent, though, at a 30% contract, they'd make 30% of 3,000 or $900. But eventually, the person who's at the 30% contract, they're going to help more families. All of our promotions are based on performance. So as soon as they've helped a certain amount of families, they're going to move to the next contract. And eventually, though, they're going to come and say, hey, I want the 80% contract. And rather than holding them down and telling them no, we're grabbing them by the collar and dragging them to the 80% contract as fast as possible. And this is confusing to a lot of people because they think that 80 minus 80 equals 0, meaning if I'm at 80% and I bring you up to 80%, I would now be making 0, so there would be no incentive for me to do that. Well, the company was smart. They knew that was what was happening in the industry, so we changed it. Here, 80% minus 80% equals 17%. And no, I'm not doing funny math. What happens is when that $3,000 of production or commission that's going to be paid out to the field is paid out, only 80% of it has been paid out so far. The company has made sure there's still 17% left over to incentivize, to induce training, coaching, and developing of new brokers. So it's in our best interest to train and coach and develop you to actually run your own agency. Because I would rather make 17% override on an agency versus a 50% override on an agent. How successful do I want your agency to be? Our company actually structured it to make sure that people who are in leadership roles already are searching and grabbing those people who are the next wave leaders and making sure we're helping them have as much success as possible.